Hi, welcome to the garden again. Danny's come one more time into the fray.
You gotta hang out in the garden. It's such a lovely place to be. So thank you for inviting me.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And the reason Danny came back was a couple of them. He has some more questions about grids and things, but he also has some questions about past lives. When he and I did the past life thing before, we got a lot of really positive things and people wanting to know more about past lives. So you explained to him how we got the people we're going to read today.
Okay, so and should we talk about the grid first?
Yeah, talk about the grid
egg
first. Yeah,
we'll talk about the egg. Okay, so I wanted to get some heart fixins for my wife, maybe for me too. So Nancy was she talked about her heart chakra egg. And so I got one, and it came in this cool little box with an activation card and an allowance activation card and a crystal, an activation crystal that I pulled off from here. I didn't know I was supposed to, but Nancy said, yes, you need to. So I got it separated. And I go, now what?
This is so much for my incredible instructions, right?
So in the allowance activation, I get it. I didn't know that. I thought maybe I could just leave the crystal on the card and point it at the crystal and at the heart and activate it. The allowance activation, the words are super powerful for me. Makes a lot of sense. And so I was just wondering, is that all there is? Or is it that simple?
Yep.
Okay.
It's like I said,
a lot of times it is.
Like I said, if your soul sees something that it really wants, it puts it out there and then it just walks into it. So what you're doing with the allowance prayers, you're allowing your body, your energy, your soul, your spirit, whatever you want, to connect to the vibration that's in the egg. In the center of that egg is a rutilated quartz crystal, the very, very center. It looks clear. It actually has a lot of gold threads. That's from Brazil. And then it's green moss agate that's around the outside of the chakra postings. And there's 6 of them. And it was actually designed, when I came up with this design, it was for a friend of mine who has died 3 times on the operating room table, has had 3 NDEs, does not want to be here, may he say. He will tell you very plainly, I want to go back where I was. But he has a heart that shouldn't have survived either one of those 2 surgeries, and it has. And he also has lung problems. So I like moss agate, for the green moss agate for lungs, because it sort of looks like lung tissue, but green. And that's what I channeled, is what we needed to do for this. So I channeled it. Alma designed the medallion in the middle, the chakra symbol, and Shay in Denver fabricated it into an egg. And in the interim, I talked with Robert Bringas, and we discussed the allowance prayer and how to fire it up. Because normally what I do with people is I have them start in the center and they go around, they tap all the crystals in their grid and it fires it up. But I knew this was very different. So we came up with the wand, which is very personal to you. That's why you have to hold it. Hold it in front of you. You have the egg out in front of you, and you can set it. Your egg should have come with a little stand to hold it, so it doesn't roll.
Yes, it did. It did. And not that it really needs it, because the bottom seems flat. And
it's so if you have small children or cats, it doesn't get knocked off the table. Anyway,
I see.
So you put it up. You put it in front of you. You point the wand towards the egg, and the other end towards you.
So it would be like that. This,
right? Or in front, if you have it on a table. Someone I know put it on their mantle. They sat in their meditation chair, and it was across the room from them with the wand in between. But wherever you want to put it so you can see it, you read the allowance prayer. And the allowance prayer is very open-ended, and it allows you to go in without any preconceived notions of how the universe is going to help you. But this is what you want. And that's
Right.
what allowance is to allow all the energy to flow in both directions. And I've had people tell me that they can feel it. It can take 2 or 3 times, and you have to kind of fire it up 2 or 3 days. But once it's fired up, it's just like my other grids. It's just sitting there doing its grid thing, you know? And so you are in that web of energy, and it's in that web of energy with you. So, and if you feel like it's not there, you can always sit and talk to it all the time.
Right. And do you, so if I, a couple of questions. If, so this is for my wife.
Right.
And if, does it need to be in the same room, or can she have it in another room and she's, it's still
just, it's sort of like a little trail. It's like a little wispy trail of energy that follows her.
just, okay, cool. Now,
and you can fire it up for you, and she can fire it up for her, because crystals don't think, it's not like the genie in the lamp. Okay, guys, it's like more open-ended than that. And this is the heart chakra. I have designed all of the chakras and the tree of life and earth, wind, air, and fire for people who want to work with directionality, color, that fits in that schoolhouse. So all of my eggs all together, I've created a dozen.
so this egg is multi-purpose.
You can use that for anything.
And
you really
I
can.
can use this, and she can use this at the same time.
Right.
Same egg going
Right.
to 2 different people.
Right. And that
Very
one
cool.
is specifically designed to work with the heart and the lungs. And I know I've held parts, I've held medallions with crystals in it, because that's how I tested them to see if they were the right crystals, because I had to hold them. I've held the other medallions with the other crystals in it. And I was told that they would work. We have one for the throat chakra, we have the third eye, we have the crown, we have the root chakra, we have the solar plexus, and we have the sacral chakra.
Right.
So it depends. Some people know, they've either been told, they've been divined, they've looked at Andrea's wacky cards that have all of the chakras in them, but they've been told this is where you have a block. And, you know, some people know that, some people don't. Some people, and the reason I specifically want to work so hard on the heart chakra with everyone is because I know that until I unblocked my heart chakra, and I built walls around it for a very good reason. I mean, there were people who wanted this body carrying this soul to not be here, but now they're all gone, it's all gone, and I'm fine. And so it was time to tear those walls down. That had a lot to do with my weight loss. It had a lot to do with my emergence of a greater spirit, but it all starts for me in the heart. Now, there are other people who can never feel secure, so they'd be working with the root chakra, and that would be the best one for them to pick. But really, there's going to be a smorgasbord for you to pick from. I have one lady who already told me she wants all 12 as soon as we have all 12 of them in manufacture. And my fabricator's husband had a bad reaction to a COVID thing, and they were getting divorced. They're not now getting divorced, but she had to fly where he was to help him through that crisis. He's an older man, and he just cratered. He did not do well. But it's something kind of peculiar to him. It's the part of the world he comes from and everything else. But she'll be back next week, and we have, I think, 60 eggs about to be ready to roll out. So if you follow my website, crystaldirections.com, I will be posting pictures of all of the different eggs, what they look like. And I thought about it, and I could be really spectacularly egoistic and write a different prayer for each one, but an allowance prayer is an allowance prayer.
Right.
And so the allowance prayer is the allowance prayer. After that, it's what chakra you want to work with, which one you relate to, what you need. Now,
sure.
Danny and I don't need a throat chakra one, which is for people who can't talk.
We need something that'll maybe like keep us
ameliorate
up
that
a little
bit. Tamper it down. But I mean, so it's just kind of what you want to work with. And it's like, and to me, it's, I've studied just enough yoga to be dangerous, and to myself and anyone near me. And so, but I've learned a lot about the chakra colors from dealing with the cards and dealing with the other energies. That's been part of my journey, especially in the crystals, man. I relate the crystal so much to the chakra colors that are
Sure.
in them. So
Sure.
I just,
Well, this is exciting. I want to, would it be okay to post the allowance prayer? No, no, I won't do it. We'll edit that part out.
yeah, you can do that. I don't, if people know, they say you edit so seamlessly, it's because I don't edit. The reason for the allowance prayer is it's a really powerful thing. And I mean, I worked on it for quite a while. And I wouldn't want someone to not really when you feel the egg, you feel the wand, and you feel the allowance
Right.
prayer, you're in that loop. It was designed for
Yes.
that loop. Do you
Okay,
understand?
great.
I'm
Got
not being a witch with a bee in front of it. I'm just saying.
No, no, and I truly get that. That allowance prayer is part of your energy that you're putting forth in the world. And so I totally understand that. And I get the whole sense of it. So
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, it is a very when I wrote it, the day I wrote it, I was sitting here crying at the end of it because I realized I'd found just the right words, and
right.
I would hate for someone to not understand the power of what they're undertaking.
Correct. Got it. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So I was
So do you have any other egg questions?
I don't. I want to activate it and have my wife activate it and start working with it.
Yeah,
so,
and
thank you so much.
One of the people who's worked with it a bit more, because they got one of the earliest eggs, they told me that, and this fits with what they do, but they felt a vortice, and they're a vortex, a vortice. And for him, it became interdimensional. Now, I don't know what it's like to do that. See, I just make these things. It's like, I'm like,
right.
You invented the vacuum and then never swept the floor. So, and I don't understand what that means, but he said it's very powerful. And he was showing it to other people who are in the crystal and interdimensional spaces. And they're like, does she know that she's brought that energy in? So that's why I'm not saying be worried about it. It's not going to hurt you. It's only bringing in good stuff, but it is powerful.
Right. Yeah. And I think that, you need to be in a place to receive it,
right.
And not just, like, oh, I'm just going to go play with this. You need to be centered and ready and asking for this healing to be coming
right.
to you.
And,
so.
And I hope most people I know are, when you do the allowance prayer, you are building a shield around yourself so that you're bringing in the proper energies.
Right. All the good stuff.
All the good stuff. So,
right.
And
none of the bad stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it actually should help you recognize it and tell you to bat it away.
Right.
It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it's like my cat with its toy won't get out of here.
That's funny. All right. Should we get to some past lives?
Yeah, let's talk about them past lives. Okay.
All right.
I posted on my show for a couple days, if you wanted to be included in the past life reading show, to put your name in an email to me. I know people are like writing underneath, oh, I want it. And then somebody replied from my group says, she won't listen to you unless you email it. And this is true because, you can be Granny G, most wonderful person in Oklahoma, but that's not going to help me find you if I need to tell you something. Or so what we did is, so I got some emails, and then I went to my random number generators, my grandchildren, and I said, pick a number between 1 and this and tell grandma, and you each can't pick the same number. So that's what they woke up to this morning. They got to be random number generators. So
cool.
I got Susan 8862, which is her handle and her email. And I got a woman named Elizabeth, and I have their emails. And when we're finished taping today, I will let them know that they have been included. Now, how did you pick your people?
Well, I did the same thing with the emails. And one of the things that you did on the last past life reading with me, you came back and said, these cards here that were maybe a little not as clear as I wanted, you went back and looked at them and clarified them. And so you emailed me to clarify things,
Right.
which I thought was really, really good. I mean, I really liked it. So what I did the same thing. I said, you've got to email me. I got a list of emails and I put them on a piece of paper. I wrote numbers down on the side and they're in a random order. And my random generator is Nancy Jean. So
And I'm about as random as you get too. My grandchildren inherited it.
She's going to pick one or two numbers and we're going to at least get to number one, and whether we go with, a second reading, we'll see, but we're going to at least
we can crank one out for each. I really think, Danny, because if we don't do the longer 4x4, we can at least get them a hint of where their past life is.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
And I've been playing with this because Nancy's been doing it for 30 years. I've been doing it for 30 days. And so it's fun to play with different spreads for me. And I have a long one, I have a short one. So this is really interesting. All right, Nancy Jean, what two numbers do you want to pick?
14 and 6.
14. Karen Johnson. And 6 is Sonja Cadona.
Good.
Cadona. So I will email them. Cool. All right. Who wants to go first? Are we going to both read on all four?
Yeah, we can do that if we start with Spirit 7 and we'll pick. I tell you what we'll do is we'll do all four of them and then we'll look back at maybe the two that we want to do the 4x4 on. That we feel like the message is compelling. Does that work?
Okay. And I may not do the 4x4. I may do something a little different.
The 4x4 is just a very flexible reading that I started. So which one are we doing first?
I don't know. We'll do one of mine, I guess. Let's
start with yours. Who's 14?
Let's do Karen Johnson.
Okay.
Karen Johnson. Come on. Karen Johnson.
Guys, if you don't like cameras moving, mine's moving. Yeah, it moved.
There it is. Yeah, close your eyes. Karen Johnson. Past life for Karen Johnson. Life is what many of her lives is most important to her at this time.
And we could get 2 different lives for her, even in this life. I've done this for people, and sometimes they'll have, the way I understand past lives to work, or I was taught, is you have 3 or 4 that are really kind of coalesced and boiled down in this life. And then you have a lot of other ones where you can learn from the vibrations of them, but they may not necessarily be ruling you. You ready to go? You want me to go?
Hang on one second. You can go.
Okay.
You can go.
Okay. The way I read, these three cards are the past life. The one here, one here, and one here. And then these three, that one that points to the top three, are the ones that come in and make up this life. And this is the card in the center. And that one sort of changes as you read people, because they get to different points on how far they've gotten along with this life. You also can read the bottom of the deck, and you're going to win, Karen. It's going to come out victorious for you, girl. In a past life, you were a very strong woman in an era where we're going all the way back to knives and swords and that kind of fighting. And you lived outside of the norms of society. So I presume because you did that and you lived, you were a woman of wealth, but you broke all the rules, and didn't make you made some interesting choices. If you look at that card, the Five of Swords for a lot of people means duplicity, winning at all costs. But the way I look at it in this deck, yeah, you got it too? Okay.
I got it too.
These are all the talents you've gathered up in your life, but there became one that you really polished up, Karen. And let me put it as politely as I can. I don't think you were ever alone at night. Okay. But you sold your soul out. You made a lot of money, but it didn't make you happy, and you lived outside the norms of the world, and you felt never at home or at peace. But in this life, you've come in to mend that broken heart, to be out in the world, because by the very nature of the job you had, you weren't out in the world much. The world was coming in to see you. So you've been out in the world, you haven't hidden from anything. But the hardest thing for you to do is to make a decision about certain things, because you're on a spiritual journey. This is the Seven of Swords, is intellect, analysis, and spiritual growth. But like I said, you're going to win, girl, because you got the Six of Pentacles. So I think you're just taking care of yourself this time, and you've healed a lot of the shadow of that past life in this one. What'd you get, Danny? Now that we've been covered.
Oh my gosh. I love that, because it was so the way that I'm doing this, the way that I'm starting to I'm playing with this past life reading, is I'll take the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to drop this down. So if you don't like camera moving, close your eyes, sing a happy song.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Okay. So here we are. The way that I'm doing this now for today, and first probably in the future, because I kind of like this, is I'll flip cards until the first card I get comes to a major arcana.
Okay.
That's the past life. And then these bottom cards are kind of tell the story a little bit more in detail of this life.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Moon card for you. The Moon card, as far as what career you could go into, represents something that you would do at night. Okay. What kind of job would you hold at night? A night staff. You could be a detective. I'm looking at this. I have a list of jobs that go with the moon. So I'll just say them: night staff, sex worker, detective, illusionist, artist, income through affiliated systems. I'm not sure what that is. But the thing that popped out at me, just because, anyway, I got night staff and sex worker from one of your past lives. You did make a lot of money at it. It was kind of a new thing to you. You got the Five of Swords, so you're in a little bit of a battle with maybe you got into a battle with somebody in this night working area, wherever you were working, and it left you feeling quite alone. And it left you searching for answers in your past life. So the next thing that I do with this is I go, what do you need to let go of from this past life that's no longer serving you? So, and I'm using an enchanted math oracle deck as to what you should let go of. And it's the idea of home, that everything is, it's kind of like a comforting feeling that maybe you didn't get here because you were battling it, but it's that battle feeling. Your home is who you are inside, not what somebody is saying you are, or what you should be, or how you should feel about it. It's about what your core is, not what you do maybe for a living. And so that's what I got for what to let go of, and what you should embrace with this past life. And this is for entertainment only. Is feast of plenty, choices and their consequences. So to me, it's like, just be okay with your choices. They are what they are. Trust that your inner being is who you really are. Don't listen to other people who tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. Trust your inner being. And from this, I mean, it's, the thing with the past lives is when we look at our lives and we find out why we're attracted to somebody, why something feels comfortable, why something doesn't feel comfortable, these past lives may help explain the comfort level that we're feeling with a certain vibe that we get from
that feeling in the back
something.
of your head, the feeling in the back of your head, like I've been here before and it's not where I want to go. Right.
And I love the fact that you said the similar thing in your reading that we both got the Five of Swords. We both got kind of a night. What'd you say in the very beginning about her?
That she controlled her own life, but she didn't follow the rules. But I figured out what this is. If you want to read about your past life, is this Karen that we're talking to?
Yes.
Go look up Southwark in London, that area of London in the Middle Ages. It was an area of brothels that were controlled by the Catholic Church. You worked for the church. Yeah, nice guys. The Bishop of Southwark or Warwick, he owned all those houses. He made money from them. Now you know why we had the Reformation, guys.
Yeah.
But the other one that spoke to me is that she doesn't have that anymore. She can make her own decisions. But I think sometimes because this was so much of her own decision to go and do this, and I think it may have had something to do with the home she came from. She may not have had one, or they threw her out. That she sometimes she's wary of her own decisions now when she shouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. I'm bringing it back up, guys, because I really hate talking to my hands. So
talk to the hand.
Okay. You want to try one of mine?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know nothing about Susan 8862, but her name is Susan 8862.
Susan 886. That's the best last name.
No, I
8862.
think it may be her home address. Because I have some numbers attached to mine that are old home addresses, you know.
Yeah. Susan.
God, the three of swords, man. Oh, well, things have worked out better for her this time. And she was a guy in this life. Do you want to go first? You got a night too. I got you got death.
That was the first card.
Right.
Which is, but you know, it's certainly not bad.
It means transition. It means whatever life this was, it was a grand transition for her.
Right. And then she got the sun right at the bottom, the magician.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, she's still battling with something that was going on in this transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, so hang on one second. So the careers that she could have had with this, she could, you know, it could be careers in the Army, career advisor, funeral director. I don't get where financial advisor comes in so much, but
I've met a few that would change your mind about that, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. There could be some drug abuse counseling and careers involving other people's resources. When I was reading that list, the drug abuse counseling kind of popped out at me because of this sun card that she brought light to a lot of people. She really, through her transformation, she allowed people in her career, she managed the transformation of people. And she was a magician about it.
Right.
She really was great at what she did. And she felt the struggles of the people who she was advising. She was really, and maybe she felt those just a little too much. And that was something, I don't know, let's see what she should let go of is the dry desert. And so it feels like when I look at this, that her work in this area was one, and her battles with it left her isolated. And she was having a hard time. Well, it just left her isolated and feeling alone, even though she helped so many people. And the thing that she should embrace is whale song, resonating. What she did, the good that she did, resonated with so many people. When you hear the whale song, when you're underwater, and I've had that honor, and you can hear it on the internet or on speakers, but when you're underwater listening to a whale that could be so far away, it resonates in your chest and it vibrates your whole physical being. And it's just not a bubble that she was healing. It just went so far out that she didn't even know. So even though she feels she's kind of isolated, her work spread out through the world and through it just touched so many people that she doesn't even know about. I'm pulling the camera up.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Well, I got much the same thing. We're hitting on full cylinders here today, guy. This is the past life, and she was a guy who was very entrepreneurial and spread things, but he created an empress environment. In other words, he wasn't a soldier. He was someone who created a warm, large environment that people could be healed in, going back to mother. And this is healing the hearts. She healed hearts in this life. Now, in the past life. Now, in this life, she came in with a lot of guy energy, but it was tempered by understanding and a lot of emotions. So she's Susan, but she's a person people look to for leadership. She's carried that in from that past life. But if she's had problems in this life with staying balanced and not overgiving, and also, where do I put this talent? Whereas in the past life, it all sort of fell together. This life, she's learning how to pick goals and how to move forward and how to stay balanced. But she's gonna make it. You got the 10 of coins. Ultimately, that's a winner chicken dinner. And then your under the deck card was the 2 of swords upside down. So whenever your head and your heart fight, go with your heart and don't get you. She's seen how she carries forward the vibration of, I know all this can work, but yet she's had a hard, well, there's so much to work on in this life, that fit in those goals. I mean, pick a corner,
right.
And you're there. So that's been a little overwhelming for her, but I think she's really going to do well at it. Yeah, I think she's recently walked away from a situation that wasn't leading her onward. She's going to meet a man who's running something the way she wants. And she's not going to have to be the only one in the room that sees the light. She's going to come together with some other light workers and see the light. So looks good, girl.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, who's this next likely victim that we'll see how close we come?
Okay. Hang on. Where's my numbers? Sonja. Cadona. Cadona. Sonja. Sonja. Yeah, it's so fun with these because you can they can just keep going. You can just keep peeling the onion with these readings. I mean, these are abbreviated, obviously, because of
you have a life and we have a life, and at some point we need to go back to it. Yes.
And sometimes I feel like I just keep pulling cards all day long. And my wife goes, "Come on, get out of there." No, I'm okay. All right, Sonja. What is message from your past?
Who goes first?
You got your cards down, so
yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. In a past life, Sonja should have left. Sonja should have took off, and she didn't. And she kind of got stuck in one place and never really moved on. And she ended up under the complete control of someone else.
Oh,
Someone really held her down. So in this life, she came in an enlightened soul. We got the Seven of Swords. Swords can mean stress and pressure, but they also can mean intellect. And I think in this case, the Seven of Swords means that she's learning how to take what she learned up here in the clouds and bring it down to earth. So she's learned that. But Sonja's biggest problem has not been balancing money. Sonja's found the way to get the money, but she still is too willing to surrender sometimes to the whims of other people, even in this life. And where she is right now, it's difficult because she's the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, when she's not in a good mood, I'm the Queen of Swords. When I'm not in a good mood, you don't want to be around me.
Thank you for being in a good mood today.
Oh, when I'm doing cards, I'm usually in a good mood. It's other things, filing tax, stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah.
The problem is she's in the middle of having a falling out with a lot of people, and it has to do with politics. It has to do with their value system. And she already got trapped into somebody else's value system in another life. So this is how it's expressing itself in this life. She can take care of herself. I have no worries about her and money, but right now what I'm hearing, Sonja, what my guides are telling me is have the grace to let them live their own lives. You cannot run them, and you can turn the Queen of Swords around and be happy. But if you're trying to do to them what that person did to you in a past life, trap them into your belief system. Let them have the grace to make their own mistakes. That's it. I'm done.
All right. Well, Sonja, you have another past life that this time we're not like in sync with our past lives, right, which is fine. You know, it's totally fine. So I'm going to drop it down. So everybody close your eyes if you don't like it.
Okay.
We good? All right. So the first card that you got was the Nine of Pentacles. But the first major arcana was the Emperor. And so the Emperor with the Nine of Pentacles, the Emperor tells me that either you were in a leadership role, you were in government, you're an emperor type person, something like that. And that's normally a male job. I could use the pendulum to see if it was or not, but we won't go in there right at this moment. Just a strong leadership role with you. You made a lot of money with the Nine of Pentacles. You were very wise with it. You were intuitive with it. This tells me that you made money in the government with the Hierophant. You love to give your money away. Generous, maybe a little too much. Okay, so you have a lot of pentacles here. And the last one, you're like in the snow, you're destitute. So this tells me that you may have started a lot of businesses and they were successful, and then you just gave away either your power, you gave away your too much money, but it left you a little broken. And so that's what you're dealing with, the joys, the highs and the lows of that life. What you should let go of from this past life reading is wide open spaces. And I get the feeling that when I looked at this, it's the highs and the lows that you need to let go of. It's too much of a roller coaster with you in your past life. Sometimes we are adrenaline junkies and we live for the high, and then we crash and we're like so low. It's like, oh my gosh, we're never in that middle that middle range. And so that's what I got out of this card. What you should embrace from this past life is, and for those of you who watch The Man Cave, don't laugh at this. It is, this is the shaman's dream. It's the galactic mushroom. This is, but underneath it, it says it's the divine matrix. So know that everything fits together in its proper order. The highs can't be all you're living for. The lows can't be all you're feeling. And woe is me, woe is me. There's a middle ground here. You can't give away all your power, all your money. You have to be more judicial about what you're doing. It's not the extremes is what I'm getting. Also with this card, really trust and listen to your intuition. You're really good at it. And you're a good emperor. You're a good leader.
Yep.
And that's what I got from Sonja on that past life.
So what we got are two contrasting past lives, which I've done before. In one life, she gave everything up and ended up trapped. And in your life, she got everything she wanted or managed to run it all and then gave it all away.
Right.
And what I saw in this life is she had temperance upside down. So she needs to work on balance, Sonja. This life is another challenge of balance.
Yeah.
But you're going to make it because you got the 10 of Pentacles. So this time you're going to make it and hold on to it.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, heck, she got the galactic mushroom card. Yeah. I don't think you can get any better kind of card.
I don't know, you and your mushrooms.
It was just a card that came up.
Yeah, I understand. If we move quickly, we can catch Elizabeth, and then we don't have anyone feeling left out in the cold.
Okay.
So this is Elizabeth's past life. And like I said, the two people I handled, I will email you today and let you know. This show should go up tonight between 7 and 8 o'clock. Tech support has a long day and won't be home till 6.
Okay. What's her name? What's her full name?
Elizabeth H. I told him I wouldn't use their last names.
Okay. Elizabeth H.
Wow. For all of you that got sick, see, I didn't warn you, and so you didn't even notice I moved the camera. I have great sympathy for that. I have horrible vestibular problems, which is what causes that. And I can't watch a 3D movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're hard for me too.
Yeah. Okay, who's going first? You still doing
You are, your cards are down. Yeah.
Okay. Past life, you had it all, girl, and you knew it, and you were a guy, but you were incapable of sharing and giving other people credit. The Lovers reversed. You didn't want to share anything with people. So as a consequence, you came into this life and that.
To what?
That I'm seeing images of clothing for that life.
Oh.
This is like Georgian England. You were like a guy in Georgian England and you didn't want to share. You came in with a great estate. I think you squandered it. So you came into this life trying to do a no no drama, Obama wife.
Hmm.
And you found someone to love, and you found someone to share with, and you've learned to not get obsessed with things. I think this guy was like a gambler or something like that. That's how he lost everything. So you fight a lot of times. You say, boy, that would be fun to go over there and do that. But you're in this life to transition and move on and wipe this slate clean. This guy was no fun. This guy was, well, he was a lot of fun if you're around him and taking his money, but he was no fun.
What card is that?
King of Wands upside down.
Okay. Oh,
Next to
okay.
someone who had everything coming in and then blew it all because they couldn't share.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so this life's been a real transition for you. You found love, you found warmth, you found people to share with. And you're in the process of learning how to manifest to bring everything forward in this life. She's crossed a spiritual bridge to be able to bring in much more spiritual things. She doesn't have to buy people anymore. That's part of why this guy got in trouble, is he bought people. I mean, he kept people around him that would stay as long as he paid them. Sound like a certain former guy we know. But right now, I think you need to hear this message today, because you're in a stalemate. Your head and your heart are fighting. Always follow your heart. Okay, that come anywhere close to what you got.
That last thing you said, right? You've got to follow your heart. What would you say? Who's fighting?
The two of swords always is to me, your head and your heart are fighting.
Your head and your heart are fighting.
Right. So you need to pull out the head one, get your ego, get that sense out of the way, and then you can move forward.
Right. And look at the card I got when follow the leader. You're following either your head or your heart. You need to, you're kind of battling with that. I mean, the cards are very similar. Let me drop them down. Let me drop them. There we go.
Oh yeah. Came from a good spot, had a lot in that former life and lost it. Yeah.
Right. So she was the star. Former life. She was a star. That was the very first card I pulled. So I'm like, wow, very cool. Okay. You did have some battles. You did have some problems with a lot of different choices. Which one do I go with? I don't know.
See, you got the King of Wands. You got him right side up. I got her upside down.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here. Now we're the same.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's easy. I got the King of Wands, but guess what I got after the King of Wands?
Obsessive behavior.
Yeah, the addiction card.
Look at the number on that card, Danny. My card called materialism is the devil.
Oh.
So we both pulled 2 or 3 of the same
So
cards.
we both pulled that. So what I'm getting with this reading is so similar to Nancy Jean's reading, is in a past life, your star was really shining, and you could be with this star. It's and obviously an artist. It could be anything that you touched, you could be a star in. It balanced you out. So when I looked at that card, sometimes stars, stars today are imbalanced. American Idol type stars. There is no idol. There should not be an idol. It should just be somebody who balances people out. And you did that, but you struggled with what kind of star you wanted to be. And I get that this King of Wands is attached to the addiction. And I think that as Nancy Jean was saying, that there is some addictive qualities with this King of Wands that kind of created confusion and fighting. So these cards, the day-to-day cards, are more of a battle against this star energy. What you should let go I got the follow the leader card, which is let go of following the King of Wands in the addictions, and what you should embrace. And it's these two cards. You should embrace the sun. And what does this say? Joyful muse. Oh my gosh, muse. And there's a cat.
Yeah.
That's just wrong. Anyway,
Oh,
joyful muse inspiration. So that's what you should be hanging on to from this past life, is your star quality, singing your own music, finding who maybe you are the muse. Don't follow the addiction or the King of Wands that may be upside down. In my deck, for these readings, I had them all right side up. So it very easily could be an upside down King of Wands because the devil is right next to it.
Well, the devil would turn him upside down, even if he was doing it right in the first
Absolutely. Place. Yeah. So we got a similar.
And it was, another. And I really feel it was in Georgian England, and there are a lot of Georges. They went on forever. Until Victoria. Georgian England, and you inherited an estate, and you just blew it, and you blew it for a whole lot of people when you did. And it may be because your money seemed endless to you because you never understood what its value was. So in this life, you're learning that, but you still have that thing. You still have that headstrong part of you that wants to go ways, but you've crossed a spiritual mark, and you should, if you can tie to your heart, to your spirit, to your soul, you should be able to make it out of this life and leave him behind.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, 3 out of 4 we mixed, and the other one kind of fit together. We saw 2 different reflections of.
Yeah. Well, she got double the pleasure.
Yeah. Well, that's true. We did get the hooker. Yes, we did.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, that's past lives, guy. Now, if you want a past life, when I do them for people, we go into a lot more detail. We go into, as Danny will tell you, that I lay out a lot more stuff. I don't know how Danny's intending to do it. I charge the same for a regular reading or a past life reading. So if you contact me, and I will have below in my description how to email me, and I will send you the price list and what I do.
Yeah. And, the same thing, when I do a reading, it goes into much greater detail, and we'll dig more into time, history, male, female. And I use the pendulum a lot for that. So we can get an area of, what century, what part of the world, and all of that. So, yeah, awesome.
Well, this was fun. I've never had anybody doing them. Well, I've had them when I teach it. We'd all lay out cards for everybody in the class would have their moment in the sunlight, which is always fun. And the students really didn't like reading me because they found out that one of the reasons why I'm such a wonderful, nice person is I've gotten all the bad stuff out a long time ago.
So awesome. So awesome. Well, this was such a treat. I love exploring, who would think reading past lives together would kind of work. So I like experimenting with this. I think it's fun, and there's always information that we can get out of it, and just go with the positive, and try to be a better person.
Well, and I think sometimes I'll do past lives for people, and they'll go, oh, I always felt that way and I never knew why. Well, now they have a frame to start to build change on. You can't build change on amorphous messes in the corner. That's not what doesn't work so well. But I love this, and maybe Danny and I'll do this again. Maybe
I hope so.
A feature of our week, month, or every so often. What other time do you have?
What's right?
You know about
Right.
minutes, don't you? I used to tell my kids when they were little, it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a minute. Finally, my oldest son, he was about 6, he looked at me and he said, is this a real minute or a mommy minute?
Yeah, you know, I do that same thing. I'll be right there. It's just 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes, 4 hours later.
No
So
wonder your wife needs a heart chakra egg.
yeah, trust me.
Well, you take care, and I hope she's feeling better from her shots.
Yes, I'm go check on her right now. Thank you, Nancy Jean.
Thank you so much. And I
All
will
right.
contact
Bye-bye.
you later, dear. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. Oh, we're done.